Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today afternoon news for Thursday, July 6. I am Mary-Claire Williams. MP for St. Thomas Cynthia Forde is giving government a failing grade for its handling of the closure of the Alma Parris School. Last week, news surfaced that the near 22-year-old institution would close its doors. Education Minister Ronald Jones had expressed concern that over the last 2 years, no students were allocated to the school following the annual Common Entrance exam. He also claimed that the school did not meet expectations. And ahead of talks this evening between the Ministry of Education and parents and teachers of the school, Forde said the government could have done a better job.
So it meant that for 2 years, the government had a plan to close Alma Parris School because no children were assigned to the school that should hold 150 children. 15 teachers and perhaps an ancillary staff with an office staff constituting about 10 people. And not a teacher knew what was going to happen until last week Tuesday. The school board did not know, according to my information. The parents did not know. The students did not know. And I want whoever the business person is that was applying the uniform, sue the government. Because we're talking the NRSL's responsibility money or levy money. And if the suppliers did not know, you know what happened? They brought in all those clothes to accommodate 150 children. And there is no business for them because the school is shut and a doctor who is in labor says, we are going to open a vocational center down there.
Forde also says the education sector is in trouble and there needs to be a consultation on education.
There are tremendous fractures in education that we are not going to go anywhere, and that is the reason why you're seeing on your video school children fighting, cursing, all kinds of weapons they're carrying because they are suffering and they need help, they need guidance, they need supervision, they need mentoring. This government is not doing it to the advantage of those who deserve it better. And if each one matters, then we need to look after, as a Labour Party again, formulate policies and programs that will help to nurture our children. There's nothing that hurts every Barbadian more than everyone who gets up here, somebody got shot, somebody got stabbed, somebody got killed. Who are there? 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Those are young people who need a barometer to guide them through life properly.
In other news this afternoon, Acting Prime Minister Richard Seeley is hailing a recently passed agreement between the U.S. and CARICOM. The U.S. Caribbean Strategic Engagement Act was adopted just over a year ago by the U.S. House of Representatives. Addressing anniversary celebrations at the U.S. Embassy in Wilde last night, Seeley said the act will allow for more effective dialogue between Washington and the Caribbean.
The U.S. Caribbean Strategic Engagement Act, which was adopted by the United States House of Representatives just about a year ago. In a relatively short time, the legislation, which was enacted by the President of the United States in December 2016, the Department of State has delivered on the mandate contained in the legislation to prepare a multi-year strategy that was released only last month on the 19th. Barbados is pleased about this development and looks forward to the rollout of the specific initiatives contained. And very important, its recommendation for annual political dialogue between the United States and our region will call for regular, high-level political consultations focusing on all aspects of cooperation. And I believe it will result in a better understanding of each other and on the peculiar concerns and different challenges that we face. This is, of course, as opposed to having the ad hoc meetings we will have every couple of years.
Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador Linda Tagliatella congratulated Barbados for last month's successful hosting of Operation Tradewinds, the annual multinational military and disaster management exercise.
This strategy focuses on 6 key elements: prosperity, security, diplomacy, education, health, and energy. In terms of security, we continue to work in tandem with governments in the region to dismantle trafficking and terrorist networks, enhance maritime security, confront violent crime, and increase the sharing of threat information among countries. On this point, I would like to commend the Barbados Defense Force for the truly successful execution of Trade Winds 2017, which took place last month. This joint security exercise involved 19 nations and was a perfect example of our robust and effective partnership that prepares all of us to respond to any threat or event.
A St. Michael man has been remanded to prison on firearms charges. Jabari Kenrico Gamble of St. Paul's Avenue, Bayville, St. Michael, was arrested on Monday after police searched his residence and discovered a firearm and 12 rounds of ammunition. He was charged with unlawful possession of a firearm and unlawful possession of ammunition. Gamble appeared before Magistrate Douglas Frederick in the District A Magistrate Court yesterday and was remanded to prison. He is due to reappear in court on August 31st.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who call and get your yams and potatoes? Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I can't how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. There's much now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. At no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados Today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, at pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
A pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Over in Guyana, one of the partners of the coalition government is again raising concerns of being overlooked by the larger member, a Partnership for National Unity. The executive member of the Working People's Alliance, David Hines, is calling for more dialogue between the members in the interest of national development.
Dr. David Hines pointed out instances of the WPA getting the cold shoulder from APNU ministers on legitimate matters of concern to the party. The reported lack of consultations on the reassignment of Education Minister Dr. Rupert Roopnarine is a bone in the throat of the WPA. Dr. Hines was then asked why his party made so many demands and looked forward for so much, given that they make up a small fraction of the coalition.
We think that the WPA has been a victim of this nonsense about big party and small party. The minute you enter coalition, big party and small party go. We all become equal. You know, it takes one parliamentarian to vote against this government, just one. Yeah, it could be the WPA, one from the WPA, it could be one from the AFC, it could be one from the PNC, just one to stop this government.
Dr. Hines stressed that the fact that the WPA is still in the coalition and is speaking out on issues shows the relevance of the party.
And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump is calling on Russia to stop destabilizing Ukraine and other countries and end its support for hostile regimes such as those in Syria and Iran. Speaking in the Polish capital, Warsaw, Trump told Russia to join the community of responsible nations. The Kremlin has rejected his comments. And that's news this afternoon. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.